Well, with Dan Cross of G's UK Sales Director, he's very kindly allowed us in today to get a better understanding as to the sort of people that they're looking to bring into the business for the long term. But we'd also thought we'd just get an understanding from Dan as to his perspective, his view of the markets in general in your sectors. So Dan, how do you feel the salad sectors have performed in the last few years, and how do you think they're going to perform in the near future?
Yeah, I think in general, over the last few years, salads have been more challenging than maybe 10 years ago. But the key has been innovation and trying to bring different things to market. More recently, pretty challenging times. It seems the British summer doesn't really exist anymore, so that's never useful for a salad grower. Yeah. But in terms of how things develop, it's a very competitive arena, particularly for us with whole head salads versus the growth in prepared and people looking for more convenient offerings. Okay. And for us, the key is absolutely trying to tap into that convenience area. But
yourselves, you've looked to be very innovative, not just in respect of your product, but also internationally. How have you looked to achieve that?
Yeah, sure. So through expansion in Central Europe, but also our business in Spain that sells salad products into Europe, it's a similar kind of position. So across all of Europe, people are looking for something different, something more convenient, and it's absolutely about trying to tap into those kind of conditions and what people are looking for.
And as a business, have you found that you've had to be more innovative, hence the likes of your branded products in comparison to the sort of more commodity lines?
More recently, the growth is all about innovation. Over 20 years, we've focused very hard on quality, developing products, getting the right product for market, and now more than ever, it's about really tapping into the later trends and trying to make things work harder, hence brands and different things to really make our products stand out on the shelf.
So could you see that if we were stood here in 5 years' time, you'd actually be a branded FMCG business rather than a commodity business, or is it always going to be a mixture between the two?
I think it's unlikely. I think brands are very interesting. It's a newer area for us over the last couple of years. We've always had a G's brand product which has been sold through food service into caterers and restaurants. Yeah. But really in the last 18 months we've really moved ahead in terms of our branded offering. I think in 5 years it's pretty unlikely that we'll be a branded house. Right. You never say never, anything could happen, but I think our core business of retail, our own label, is there for the future, I hope.
Yeah. Okay. And the likes of direct sourcing that we're seeing more and more within the UK, presumably you're in a very advantageous spot because you're the grower as well as the packer as well as the marketeer. So is that something that doesn't particularly concern you? Is that something that's actually could be very, very, very beneficial to you?
We see it absolutely as an opportunity. We are a grower operating in the key territories where direct sourcing is happening, and it should mean that there's more volume for us, and through that we can dilute our costs. The growth in salads over 15 years has been pretty phenomenal, but in the last 3-5 years it's much less. So when you've got good growth, it's very easy to dilute your overheads and take cost out and get cheaper because you're always producing more and more volume. You then hit a plateau where the volume's not quite there or it's pretty stable. Yep. And the only way you can continue to really drive on with cost reduction and bringing prices down for consumers is to tap back into that volume. So direct sourcing for us is a massive opportunity. As I was saying earlier, the investment into quality that we've had over the last 25 years across all of Europe means that we should be in a prime position to capitalise on that and work with the direct sources.
Understood. And with the likes of Central Europe, the offering that you got into Central Europe, is that more commodity based, or is it a very similar offer to the market within the UK?
It's a mixture of things. So the base has been the similar kind of commodity lines. We do have a prepared factory in Central Europe, so we are broadening into prepared salads and vegetables because we feel that's a key trend that is an opportunity in that market at the moment.
Okay. But is Central Europe, is it similar to the UK, or is it a few years behind and is evolving?
It's certainly evolving, and there's certainly a significant opportunity. What's difficult at the moment is there is some inefficiency in doing bespoke ranges and bespoke products for different countries.
Yeah.
So the key in Central Europe is trying to get some kind of harmony in ranging, so that you can really drive the efficiency through those products and get those prices right.
Okay.
It's a very price sensitive area. I think similar to the UK and the economic conditions here more recently, we're seeing people have less to spend, so there's a lot more competition. If it's going to be your product, you've got to be absolutely prime in making sure that your product is the one they see and the one they want to buy.
So the potential in Central Europe is good?
I'd say the potential over 5 to 10 years is pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay, we're seeing quite a lot of American companies hit saturation point with growth in the States, and so they're going to China and India, looking to evolve their businesses. Is that something that you think G's may get involved with as well in the future?
I think the Far East is an interesting economy and place. Certainly, I flew through Singapore earlier this year and was absolutely blown away by the size of the market that's there. I know Singapore's a specific region that's done particularly well, but I think there's certainly opportunity in the Far East. If the right thing was to come up for G's, then for sure would be interested. I do think that there's still potential in the UK and a massive amount of potential in Europe and Central Europe, which would be our primary focus.
Understood. And organics. G's have always have a very good name. Have a very good name in the organic sector. Is organics recession-proof for your products?
I hope so. I think it's very difficult. Organics as a sustainable crop for a grower is a significant challenge now. I think it's very difficult to make any money out of organics. However, there's been a phenomenal investment in terms of land conversion and being prepared for a growing market. So to back away from the investment that's already been made would mean you're probably never likely to go back to it, and I don't feel we're at that stage yet. At the moment, what we're really looking for is retailers to take some responsibility in driving organics forward and trying to find the tangible benefits and promote those. And there's good work going on with the Organic Trade Board and the Soil Association, but really it's not enough. It doesn't justify the amount of investment that's been made into organics at the moment. So I think in the next 18 months, 2 years is a really critical point for organics, and that will prove whether it's recession-proof or not. For us, we'd just like to make it sustainable, and if it's not going to work and retailers start pulling out of it in a couple of years, then give it up.
And the next 5 years, big question, but what are your views? What do you think are the cycles, the predictions that you think are going to happen?
I think it's difficult. I think the economic environment is pretty tough. I think it's probably more difficult now than it was when people were talking about being in recession a couple of years ago. There's absolutely very clear information that people are spending less, and if you want to cut back on what you're eating, then fresh food is an area that generally is relatively expensive. So there is fundamental competition for fresh food. In terms of how that develops, we're optimistic that coming through into next summer with the Olympics and generally having a more buzz in the economy, hopefully that will be the turning point, and that's when things will pick up. I think for the next 10 months or so, things are going to continue to be very tough. Beyond that, it's purely about innovation and driving forward, offering something different for consumers and giving them a reason to buy your products. I think healthy eating is still an important trend that's now being talked about for quite a long time, but actually there's a lot more to do in terms of people balancing their diets, and we're fortunate that we're growing those kind of crops that are good for people.
Fantastic. Dan, just want to say thank you very much for allowing us to interview you. G's is one of the most successful fresh produce businesses that we're aware of, and also we can see that's happening on an international basis as well. Hopefully we wish you many years for the future, and you'll have some great people coming to your business in the short and the long term as well.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.